Excellent. Okay. All right, guys, we are here with Susan Ilott, and she is the producer, or one of the producers, rather.
Lead producer.
Lead producer for Afterwards. Or Afterwards, I apologize. And so this is one I was able to watch last night. This is one of our feature links here. And so I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was really... I don't know. It kind of kept me on the edge of my seat, but not in like an intense thriller way. So you have is Jason London, right?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
And so this is just me being a fanboy from years ago. But Jason and Jeremy London I loved those guys back in the 90s and stuff.
Of course.
So so that was really cool to see. But the story itself, I thought I was just kind of telling Heather about, was really neat. It's basically, and you correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, it's essentially this man kind of wakes up in purgatory or some kind of snowy post-apocalyptic kind of, what would you call it? Is it open to interpretation?
It is open to anyone's interpretation, but it is a spiritual drama where he has woken up. Well, not woken up. He's found himself that he's living, and he's been living for about 30 years in another world. And that other world is where he is living, and what happens is he finds different people along his path to lead him to the reveal ending.
Okay. And so, right, and I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I got to be very careful about how I ask questions. So you touched on he's been there for 30 years, but it's kind of like he just has the epiphany one day that he's been doing this for 30 years, right? Like, does he specifically remember every day, or...
Well, yes, because in one area there's a discussion about how he writes in a little book every day,
right.
And then the book gets destroyed,
stolen and destroyed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yes. So, and then can we talk about the bandaged man at all? Like, I don't want to give any of that away.
Yes, Christian McKenna is the bandaged man.
Yes, and so essentially, he feels compelled. I forget if there's a reason or an impetus for him to do this, but he feels compelled to kill that man, like every day,
every
day for 30 years.
Yes,
and he doesn't really know why. Right? He just has this kind of ominous, foreboding feeling. Okay, and so that is the only other person he essentially sees for that long.
For the majority of 30 years.
Right.
Yes,
and that's really interesting because it very much feels like it's isolation, right? Like you're in this kind of snowy wilderness, barely scraping by. You're all alone. You don't have anybody to talk to. So you really get that feeling of being alone, of soloness, whatever you want to call it, which I thought was very well done. And then we do eventually, he deviates from his pattern of killing the man every day, and I'm trying to be very careful about how I ask questions. So actually, why don't I let you take lead on this? Can you give them a little overview of it without giving any spoilers away? Because I'm just concerned that I will.
Sure. So after his 30 years, basically another human comes into contact with him, which is the character Dormer, played by Graham Greene. And what he does is awakens his curiosity of what else is out there.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when, I'm not going to go into what happens, but what happens to him makes him need to go on a journey.
Right. He's searching for answers. He can't
stay there anymore.
Right.
Because he knows that things are not safe.
Right, but he is kind of searching for sort of answers or explanation. I guess some, why he's there, what his existence means, what he's gonna do with the rest of his life in this place.
Yes.
So that was all really neat. Now I do know you guys. Where did you guys shoot this?
In Huntsville, Ontario.
So we were talking about. I think where we left off was I was asking about I was leading into the challenges of filming in such a cold climate, because you have some ladies dressed essentially like Heather in this very gauzy kind of flowy robes, and they're walking across a frozen lake, and I was keeping an eye out for it, and not once did I see anybody shiver or anything like that.
No,
so what were some of the challenges you guys faced filming in that?
There were a number of challenges for sure. for one, because it was so cold, we had to take multiple breaks for the actors, and definitely. The little hot pads that you can put in your
like
shoes
the glove warmers,
and in your hands and warm up. I don't believe there were any camera difficulties because it wasn't crazy cold, and we'd take the equipment in when we'd take our breaks. And
now, speaking of that, real quick. I was also told, so you shot this at a refuge, is that correct?
A reservation.
Or a reservation, I apologize.
Yes.
But you basically weren't allowed to take vehicles, snowmobiles, anything. So you had to trek about how far?
Well, we were actually able to bring certain vehicles, like a four-wheel drive Jeep in, but only part way.
Right.
And then we'd have the cast walk the rest of the way, and they were really good sports about it, I'll tell you.
That's cool. So because this movie is, I don't know, I keep mincing over this, but I just don't want to give away any spoilers, but this movie was really interesting to me, and especially the stuff towards the end. Let's just say like the dinner table setting.
With Kenneth Welsh.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Was so cool. Like, I loved that scene, and then you have kind of the lead gets away from that and then kind of flashes back to it and perceives it as something else that happened than what he previously meant. So all of that was really neat. It kind of, it's interesting. It keeps you guessing. I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend it. Is there anything else you would like to say about the movie, or just tell the folks at home in general?
I'd love everyone to go and watch it. We've actually had a great response from a number of different film festivals. We have over 60 wins.
Nice.
Yeah. Now
that's
they're not.
something.
They may not be giant film festivals, but we're thankful for everything we get.
There's no small film festival, just like there's no small part. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay.
Susan, thank you so much for being here. Wait, did I get your name wrong?
Susan. It's Susan.
Okay, sorry. I do that all the time. Susan, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
And
Thank you,
good
Susan.
luck with
We're
the rest
glad
of the
to
way.
have you at the Magnolia Film Festival and in Starkville.
Great.
All right.
Really love being here. Thank you.
Thanks so much.